going to keep searching for birds, and it seems like the only bird on drive, being Taylor, can't, or actually let me rephrase that, the only bird on drive, Taylor McCurdy, is not competitive at all. So she's definitely not looking at birds right now.
You be careful, Mr. Leo Smith, or I'll have to challenge you to another game of darts and beat you. But we do have birds, and I actually see you coming towards us. We beat you to the marsh. So we've got a variety of species, well, some usual culprits. We've got greater egrets, trying to catch all sorts of things. They're beautiful birds. They're so tall. They almost look like albino herons, don't you think? Like the grey herons. Like they've just lost their coloration, but they're not. They're a completely different species. And then you can see all the African sacred ibises. Oh, beautiful. One just landing in, which is quite nice. And then there are also some... there's a woolly-necked stork as well. A little bit further to the right. I think you're on the same ones. It's just moving in, yeah, a little bit to the right of that bird, maybe about 20 meters or so. There's a dark bird just walking through. Is it the woolly-necked, or is it the... Yes, it is the woolly-necked stork. And I did see some hardy-da ibises, but they seem to have moved on now, but that's okay. We've got a couple over here. And it's the perfect area for birds that have long bills that probe. And then, of course, also, if you're an egret and you have a long spear-like beak and you're stabbing at things, it is the perfect spot at the moment. So we will see lots of birds. I'm sure there's other little birds hiding in the grass, but it's so difficult to see. I just want to move up further to see if we can get those... hardy-da ibises. I keep wanting to say glossy ibises. I haven't seen a glossy ibis for a very long time, although they look very similar to the hardy-da ibises. It's actually quite difficult to tell them apart. Oh, there we go. It's 12 o'clock. They're the next ones. And they're some of our favorites. Hello. With their cousins, the African sacred ibis. That's quite cool. Now you can see two different species together. They've got amazing beaks, and I love that sort of green shimmer that they have on their feathers. Now, we unfortunately, we spend a lot of time with hardy-da, so I shouldn't say unfortunately. We were very lucky to watch some chicks almost make it to adulthood, and I think it'll be quite difficult. Oh, crown cranes as well, at the top, just above those hardy-das, or the ibises. Just to the right, top right corner. No, to the left corner. They're right quite far back. If you zoom in, yeah, where those birds are, to a little bit to the right, if you go back to the frame that you had, and then zoom above them, but quite far back, you can just see them moving. No, go right. There we go, got them. So there we go. There are the crown crane, very far away. Hopefully we'll get another view. And a warthog that is monstrous. I thought it was a buffalo for a second when it walked around. I thought it was shaking its head, but it's not. A couple of swallows and things flying around as well. A bit far away. I can't really see what they are at the moment. So a good area to come birding. Not anything particularly interesting. I was hoping to get maybe a new species of bird, but I don't seem to be winning today. Now, there's another character that lives around here in the form of a large water monitor. Look here. Who's been digging here, actually? I'm going to go back just a little bit. Look at all these little holes in this mound just to the left of us. Now, there are so many creatures that will feed on termites and ants and often dig. And it even looks like there's a little chamber going into the back over there. So that would be the perfect spot for something like, well, the various lizards. And then, of course, the monitors would utilize something like that. But that water monitor that I've seen is so large, I don't know if it could fit in there, but a good spot for a snake as well. I think it's probably an aardvark that has been digging around here. It doesn't look too fresh. You can see all the soils all churned up just down on the left-hand side of your screen. So that's all been dug up, but it's not fresh. It was obviously done a while ago. Let's actually come around here then. That's good news to see sort of fresh excavations. That's good news. Means that we'll see that they're moving around here. We're going to go to Brent now. Haha! Let's go catch Brent. To see what he's doing. I'm still looking for my water monitor though, because it's so big. I was telling Jahawi about it, the one that lives here, but not out just yet. But I'm sure you've spotted Brent already. It's just up ahead. Now I know he's so far ahead. I'm not challenging him to the birds today. He's very disappointed. But and I can't believe he said that I was not competitive. I must be one of the more competitive people in camp. Have you spotted another bird, Brent? Look how funny he is. He's looking at us with his binoculars. Looks like he has got an interesting set of eyes on.
Sarcasm, Taylor.
Was it sarcasm?
Sarcasm.
That's fine, Brent. It's because you're going to have to use those more regularly because you're getting old now.
Well, I'm now looking at the most raucous bird in the morning.
So funny. Rebecca and I have been practicing our fake laughs. What do you rate it? Not too great. Okay. Well, then I'm going to go past and practice. Enjoy the birds. I've already got all of them. Hey?
You missed the abdomen stalk.
No, I didn't even see an abdomen stalk. Where are they? Oh yeah. Oh no, I have not seen the abdomen stalk since.
I thought you got the ball, Taylor.
Oh, that's so cool. No, I didn't see it at all. I was looking at other things. Oh, that's cool. I have not seen an abdomen stalk since Zambia. That was one of the first birds that I saw when I was arriving. We were landing on our little airstrip near camp, and it was pretty amazing because they were just catching thermals. There were a combination of marabou storks and then abdomen storks all flying about, and I'd never seen them before. I think I'd actually called them woolly neck storks the first time I saw them, and then I was promptly corrected that it is not. Very cool. Nice. Thanks, Brent. We got that one now. He's teasing me. Okay, let's carry on though. We'll let Brent tell you all about the abdomen stalk because he's going to sit here. We're going to go look for lions.
What about birds, Taylor?
Not the Sabi sand. Okay. So funny. Right. Okay, we'll carry on. Like I said, we're going to keep looking for cats of sorts, whether they have spots on or just tawny colour. I don't mind. Maybe even some hippos. Brent is sitting with the birds in the marsh. We just saw him. Let's jump on board with him.
Hello. So it is an abdomen stalk, but it's a juvenile abdomen stalk. The reason it's not an African black stalk is there's a couple of reasons. You see how far the white goes around the shoulder, and also there's a tiny patch of blue and red on the base of its bill, and also the shape of the bill. The African black stork has a very upturned bill, whereas the abdomen stork has quite a straight downward facing bill. So that's one of the ways to tell the difference. African black storks are also quite a bit bigger. It is unusual to see one by themselves, as Taylor was saying. Normally you see them in massive flocks catching thermals. Oh, there we go. And there's the noisy geese just to the making lots of noise. And of course there's a hardy-dar in the background, just to add them to our list. And I'm not even going to go and look at the crowned cranes in the distance, because I think I'm going to find crowned cranes much closer to the car. But it sounds like the doggies are about to disappear, so let's go back to good old Uncle Trist.
Well, they're going, not only are they going into really thick stuff that we've really tried to keep up with them, and it's been seriously tough. It's not been easy to keep up with them at all, and you can see it's dense in there, it's thick. The problem is that we're just going to lose reception, so we're heading into an area which is a black hole for reception, and so unfortunately this is going to be the last of the dogs that we're going to see. They're heading deeper into this thicket and deeper into the, black hole that is this little area that we're in. It's so dense and thick here, although they seem to have slowed down a bit. I wonder if they may be just going to come out onto the road for us and just sit down for a bit. It would be nice, because what we just went through is really not very good for our vehicle. It was very thick and very dense. As you can see, there is lots of stuff now. There's a vehicle in front of me that wants to just come back, so I just need to reverse for them so that they can go and try and get a little bit further forward. So I apologize if there's any signal breakup. There we go. Now that they've moved, we can go forward a little bit, and hopefully we'll be able to, like I say, just watch these dogs for a little bit longer before they just disappear. I was hopeful that they would come onto the road, but it looks like they're going back into the thicket now, and chances are we're not really going to see much more of them, unfortunately. But how epic was that? It was really very cool. I love dogs. Michael, no, I don't know of any well-known packs denning on Djuma or Chitwa. To be honest, I've never heard of it. The Investec pack has denned on Buffalo's Hook, I think, before. So just north of Djuma, and the Sands pack is denned just south of Arathusa, but that's it. There's no other packs that I kind of know of denning on Djuma. I might be wrong. I mean, many years ago there might have been, but before my time, I've just not in the time that I've been in the Sands has any of the dogs denned on Djuma itself. And actually, to be honest, you don't really want. Look at that dog just sniffing the car. You don't actually really want them denning right on your property. In a way, it's nice because you see the little ones, but the toll that they take on the area is huge, and your leopards get a very hard time, and the leopards tend to just move out of the way of the dogs. And then on top of that, you then get a loss of a lot of prey animals that leopard will also feed on, and so your leopard population takes a bit of a hit, and the dogs really do hammer your general game as well. So as much as they're awesome to see, and a den is amazing, and I've had the pleasure of seeing a lot of dens and spending time with puppies, it's just that they can cause a bit of an upset in that area for that particular season. And so in terms of what we've got at the moment, I think it's quite nice if we have them denning on one of the periphery lodges. So if you have them somewhere like on Buffalo's Hook, then you see them regularly because they hunt on Djuma, but they don't actually spend all their time there, and therefore a lot of your other animals don't get kind of messed around, if you want to call it that. But it looks like they might settle down a bit, which is quite nice. I'm just going to go forward a bit so VM doesn't have to deal with this vehicle in his way. It's quite nice at this angle, the same angle as the dog itself. We're right low down, which is very nice, although the rest of the pack is moving and carrying on and going forward. So there we go. I'm not going to sit down for long with these guys. It's a kind of walking situation. They're running, and it's always just busy. And that's why I was favorite to many of the guys. It's very common to me. You feel apologize about that, guys. Like I said, we're right on the extreme edge of our signal zone, and unfortunately it is a situation where we are going to probably lose reception quite quickly. But I was just saying that this is why they're such a favorite, is because they're so busy. You know, everybody gets a chance. Okay, well, clearly we're not going to be able to watch them much longer because there's too many cars in the way at this stage, but they are trotting off down the road and carrying on. I'm not going to follow them any further, like I said. Unfortunately, that way we just lose reception very, very quickly, and we're not going to see them anyway, so we're going to leave them there. It's been a fantastic morning with the doggies, and I've certainly thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm not sure Rusty enjoyed it, but well, I've absolutely loved every second of it, and hopefully they'll come back towards Djuma in the next couple days. And so while I try and kind of get back into better signal and get ourselves into an area where we can actually speak to you properly, let's go back across to Taylor McCurdy, who I think is somewhere in the marsh, and hopefully she will not get stuck.
Oh my goodness, sorry Tristan that you're struggling with the signal gremlins today. I'm trying to find there's one. Some starlings just sitting up on the tops of the tree. They've got a beautiful call, except at 3 o'clock in the morning when you stay at Sala's and they're roosting around your tent. And remember, I played that sort of chorus for you not so long ago, but those are Rupel's starlings. They're not quite as colourful as the even the Meaves. Oh no, I did. I have seen Meave starlings recently when I was up in Mupengupwe, northern Limpopo. They're everywhere. We, of course, get the Birchall's starling, which they were all very, very similar. Bigger starlings with much longer tails. But they've got a white, almost a white cream-coloured eye, so it makes them quite easy to be able to tell the difference from the rest. And then, of course, well, they're just their distribution. But lovely little birds. So another one to add to the list. We're sort of half-heartedly attempting to bird today. We're not really stopping at every single bird we see. There's just too much action. This morning with the wild dogs. Right, what else are we going to find? Maybe a yellow-throat longclaw? Let's go through here. just want to quickly look. This is also a section where there's potentially some lions. Although Jahawi and I have spoken non-stop about leopards this morning. And we want to see a leopard, and we keep saying there's such perfect habitat around here. Why are we not seeing them? And then he quite rightfully said they're probably there. They're just so shy, not as relaxed as the Sabi sand leopards. We are quite lucky. Oh, that's an interesting road. No, let's keep going along the tree line. I'd like to also try and find some kingfisher today. I did see a striped kingfisher this morning, but it was just a glimpse of it. It sat down on the shrub. Sorry. Oh my goodness, there's lots of bumps here. But so it will be quite nice to get a few. Now, a question from Becca, and that is, what is the most common bird in the Mara? To be honest, I think it's a secretary bird. You see them everywhere. Everywhere you go, although I say this, but I have not put one on screen this morning. But they are most certainly around. There's so many different types of bird. I mean, an Egyptian goose, of course, is an exceptionally common bird around here. But just ones that you see straight away. Normally the secretary bird catches my eye, and surprisingly enough, I can't believe how many southern ground hornbills there are. I'd like to try and find out what their population is within this area, within the reserve and the triangle. I'll try and search on the interweb for that. What is that? Is that a hippopotamus? I can just see something shiny in the distance. I know you laugh, you're probably saying, Taylor, shiny hippopotamus? It's on the tree line. It's quite difficult to see. I suppose I have got a pair of binoculars, but I'm just being lazy today. It is a hippo. Cool. So we know that hippos secrete hipposudoric acid, or that blood sweat, and it's quite an oily substance. So often you see a shimmer on a hippo. I always talk about the shimmer that you get on a hippo's back at full moon. Oh, wow, look at that. Opening its mouth, displaying out in the open. That's something that you don't get to see all the time. Obviously, it's more common in the water. We see them splashing about. They have reason to, of course, display. So I wonder why it did that. Maybe it was just a yawn. It could have just been a yawn too. Hippos like to yawn. Tired after a long day out. Surprised that it's actually still out of the water because it's warming up. There's very few clouds today. And that hippo is at risk of getting sunburned. So it better race on back and get nice and cool in the water. It's quite cool to see. I said I wanted to see hippos as well. I don't think that's going to be the end of our hippos today. We will check along the Mara River and see if we can find some nice pods. Maybe we get some youngsters that are still awake and playing around while the adults sleep. Okay, so we'll keep heading towards that direction. Maybe we get a few more birds in between, which would be nice, but I don't think I'm going to catch Brent. Can we just say that Brent won right now? We just give him the title. Because it doesn't seem like Tristan's really birding today either, and I'm not too excited. Well, I love birds. We all know we all love birds. Anyways, Brent has got his binoculars out. Let's go across to him and see what he's spotted.
Well, I haven't spotted anything just yet, but I'm in a very, very good area. I'm right in a sort of little secret spot on the banks of the Mara River. And I know a lot of you have been really hoping to see the African blue flycatcher. And this is an area I have seen them before outside of the top of the escarpment. So I'm just listening to see. They've got a very distinct call, and all I can unfortunately hear is parrots and cameropteras on the other side of the river. So we're going to keep moving. Now, James is wondering, how many honey badgers have we seen in the Mara? Now, James, it's a bit of a sore point, that one. It is one of the only animals I haven't seen since I've been here. So I think I'm missing honey badger and striped hyena are my two sort of... Oh, honey guide species. Oh, okay. Whoopsie. Thought you said honey badger species. Sorry, James. Honey guide. We get quite a few different honey guides, but the most common is the same as the most common on Djuma. It's the greater honey guide. Very distinct call. Victor, Victor, Victor. You do get a few other honey guides, but I haven't seen any other honey guides yet, as opposed to the greater honey guide. Well, let's have a quick look while we're here, and hopefully that African blue flycatcher. Oh, I hear a flycatcher. Oh, it's so beautiful in this area. Oh, and it's parrots. after parrots. We've seen the parrots already. Stop squawking. Let the honey guides talk. All that. In the better case, the African blue flycatcher as well. So anyway, what were we doing? Honey guides. Oh, honey guides, oils. Honey guides. I was actually looking at honey guide species a couple of days ago while I was sitting with Cheetah waiting for them to get moving. Let's go. So, actually, the best place to see a honey guide in the Mara is behind Taylor's tent. So we hear them at camp quite a lot, and Taylor actually used to have a beehive behind her tent, but it was getting a bit dangerous. We do have a few people in camp who are highly allergic to bees, so we actually got in some local honey experts, and what they did is they removed the hive and they removed the queen, and they set her up in another hive, and we got some lovely honey. Okay, so in theory, scaly-throated honey guide is here, but I haven't heard them calling. It's a call I know very well. I see them in front of my parents' house often. Thick-billed, lesser. So we're on 3, of course, the greater as well. And maybe sharp-billed or brown-backed as well. So a few honey guides, but as I said, I've only seen the greater honey guide so far. I was also hoping we might find some tropical boo-boos here in the forest along the river, but alas, just squawky parrots high up in the tree. This is such a lovely little secret spot here. Not a lot of people come down here. Not a lot of people know about this road because it's a dead-end road. It only goes to the edge of the river, and that's that. Now we're actually driving through an ancient Mara riverbed. So the Mara is a young river, so it changes quite frequently. So this is where the Mara River used to flow. Now we see it quite clearly from the balloon often, but now we're actually sitting in one of those little, or not little, but extinct Mara riverbeds. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Hold on, Sebastian. I have some steepness to climb to get out of the river. I'm still convinced I'm going to find a leopard on one of these little secret loops one of these days. Oh, it is such a lovely morning. Now, we're going to keep looking for birds and maybe even a spotted cat leopard in this area. While we do that, let's see if Tristan is finally going to join the birding party.
Well, Brenty, I feel like we have been doing a bit of birding, even though we've been chasing wild dogs around. We did your game and we'll do a bit more birding. I'm heading towards Chitwa Dam, so lots of nice birds to have a look at there, and so we will do a little bit and have a little scratch around. The reason why I'm going to Chitwa Dam is just because I'm going to try and see if I can find Tumba. I feel like Tumba might be around Chitwa Dam. I don't know why I have this feeling, but I think he might be, so I'm going to just go and have a little look for him around that area. It's been a while since I've seen Tumba. I believe Hosanna, unfortunately, we're not going to see him for a few days still, because he's on his second impala kill quite far south. He's down on Vessels, which is south of Little Gowrie, so he's a long way away at the moment and he's busy feasting away there. And so I want to try and see if I can find Tumba. I'm hoping Tumba comes back towards Djuma while Hosanna is down this side, and then we see and catch up with him. But Chitwa Dam is also a good place just for a spot of birding and just generally taking in some beauty and some nice sights and sounds. And so we'll take up Brent, but actively start looking behind the dam wall for Tumba. Just checking around in case our little pearl spotted owlet is still here. This is where we saw that one the other day, so it's always worth just having a little look around. But it's amazing, it feels very, very wintry today. So even though the sun is out, it is cold and the wind is cold, and it just feels like a winter's day rather than a summer's day, which is really weird. It's not kind of how I would have expected a day in October to feel. There we go. It's 17 degrees and 63 Fahrenheit, which is, for this time of the year, really quite ridiculous. It should be a lot warmer than that. And it's amazing to think that 5 days ago it was 109 and 40 degrees. It's just crazy how the temperature changes and fluctuates in this particular area. Now, it's quite strange coming down onto Chitwa Open and not seeing a single animal, and it's because the wild dogs were here this morning. So everybody would have vacated this open section and tried to kind of get away from it and tried to sort of leave the wild dogs behind and get away. So it's a bit weird, it's a bit ghost townish when you come along and there's none of them, well, no animals around. What I really see now is a beautiful bird, so we'll try and get a little closer to it before we put it on camera. But it looks like one of our fish eagles that is now kind of perched up on one of the trees. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be a bit against the light, but let's just try and see what we can get quickly. The Chitwa Dam is such a lovely place to come. You can see it's beautiful. It's all stretched out and there's lots more water than it has had over the sort of last couple of seasons, and so it's looking as good can be. But unfortunately, like I say, this is going to be a bit against the light. It's not ideal for this time, but there we go. There it is, just on a great place for them to sit and watch the dam and then hunt from there and be able to come down and grab all kinds of fish and various other things. They will also go after monitor lizards and even the odd Egyptian goose chick from time to time. So fish eagles are not strictly fish eaters. They do go after other things as well. So there we go, Brent, there's your bird for the morning. How many birds do I have to do before we satisfy Brent is probably the question of the morning. I'd imagine as many as possible will be the answer to that. But I'm not sure where the other fish eagle is. I'm pretty sure the other one of the pair is around. I wonder if they're nesting this year and whether or not they're sitting on the same nest they usually utilize. There's a nest behind me to the west, which is where they generally kind of have their nests, and it's amazing to watch them when they're nesting because they come down, they catch things, and then they just fly back and forth with all kinds of food items. It's amazing the things that these guys are able to carry, and also the weight of things that they can carry. I've seen them with rather large catfish where it's so big that sometimes they have to swim their way back to the shore, and once they get to the shore then they have to kind of feed off it and almost break it up before they can then fly it to the nest. But they get catfish that are bigger than what they are by a long way. It really is quite something. And while we're here and talking about birds, let's go and have a little quick look at our village weavers and just quickly see if they are around. They should be finished their nesting by now, so I'm just going to quickly have a little check. There's some blacksmith lapwings, Egyptian goose, Cape turtle dove, and I don't know, there's not very much activity, but there is one or two of our village weavers here, but it's definitely not the same amount of activity as what we saw the other day. It seems as though there is a lot of females that are lining the nest with soft vegetation, and then the odd male just sitting out in the sun. I suppose the males have done most of their job now. They don't have to do too much more now that they've actually built the structures. It's up to the female to line the nest and to make sure that it's in the right way and the way that they like it. And so one or two of those nests at the moment do have females in them. I saw two going in, and so I'm sure they're just prepping everything for laying eggs. Amazing though that it's taken only it's been about a week that we've been coming to the dam, and pretty much all of them are now finished and ready to go. There's one or two that are still being built right at the top of the tree, so you can see up there's a few that have kind of not really taken off just yet. They're still busy in the early stages of the structure, or they've abandoned this particular nesting site. Right, well, while I kind of scratch around for some more birds and see what else is around, I believe Brent Leo Smith has found something that is not feathered at all and is not in anything to do with the avian varieties, but rather a ape that is sitting in the morning sunlight.
Well, there we go. There's a bum in the air. That's what they think of us. Now, there's a lovely massive troop of baboons here. They've just moved a lot of them have moved into the edge of the forest. And the little ones were being very, very cute. And I think we might find some more out on the edge. But see, the bigger ones out in the grassland, mostly feeding on insects and grubs out there, but also the occasional grass seed. And you see the warthogs around as well. But we're going to keep birding because that's what we're doing this morning. We've got some helmeted guinea fowls on the edge of the the forest as well. They just got chased a little bit by some of the younger baboons who are more full of the joy of life. I'm just listening. I can hear a very upset bird, but it's more than likely upset at the birds. It sounds like one of the warblers. But it's a bit of an alarm call. But quite deep in the forest. Okay, let's move on. Let's get a bit closer to the baboons that are out in the Erpon. And Tristan should know by now that I'll never be satisfied with the number of birds. There's always more to see. And when Tristan sees another yellow-throated longclaw, that's going to get him going for sure. I remember the first time Tristan, he was incredibly excited. He was still working at Sibambiri, and he phoned me to tell me about the fact he had seen a golden pipit in the Sabi sands. And I had him going for a long time. So I was like, oh, you mean a yellow-throated longclaw? Did you see another yellow-throated longclaw? Woof. It was so fun, just throwing the bait out there. Okay, so here we go. All the baboons are now sort of warmed up in the sunshine this morning. And it looks like the whole troop is actually heading back into the forest. We're going to stop here. There we go. Oh, there's a tiny baby on the log. Don't run away, don't run away. Becca is wondering, what is the biggest animal baboons can hunt? Believe it or not, I've actually seen them hunt goats. They are opportunists, and they're incredibly intelligent animals. So if an opportunity arrives, they will take it. They feed off birds' eggs, baby impala, baby tommies, baby topi if they can get a hold of them. Mostly the adults are too fast, but I actually have seen them take an adult goat, which is a big animal. Yeah, you? Guilty conscience. You're too small to eat a goat. Yes, you are. They are absolutely... Oh, fight in the tree. As a big male was chasing a little one, it managed to get right down below him to the edge where he couldn't get to. They are incredibly fascinating. They've got very interesting social structures as well. So a big male baboon is called a dog baboon. I just want to go a bit further forward where we get the ones in the tree. A big male baboon is called a dog baboon, obviously with their long face. So they do have quite a canine appearance to them. And the troop will be dominated by a sort of a group of big male baboons that are dominant over the troop. But it is not a set position. There is constant testing to see if another baboon another male might be able to jump a notch up the hierarchy. And the females have their own separate set of hierarchy, which is also very, very, very set. So a low-ranking female will often try cuddle up and give favor by defleeing, giving food to one of the big dominant dog baboons, and he will protect them from the attacks of the females, who can be just as vicious as the males. Now, if any of the big males pick up a slight injury, the other males will be quick on it to try knock them down a few spots in the social hierarchy. Absolutely fascinating animals. Richie's wondering whether lions and leopards ever hunt baboons. Now, yes, they do. Leopards are often considered to be one of baboons' biggest predators, which is a bit of a fallacy. So in areas where human beings have wiped out a lot of the leopard's natural foods, they have adapted to hunting baboons. But a big male baboon is a scary prospect. They're incredibly strong. Also, their canines are longer than a lion's, and they can do some serious damage. But one of the most fascinating hunts I've ever seen in my life was open marshy areas with these tree islands. So these little islands of trees, and the baboons were out in the grassland like they were this morning when the lions caught them, and they managed to run to one termite mound that had 3 trees on it. Most of the troop, it was a screaming in the forest. Someone is getting a beating. Oh, it's all over now. No, back at it. What is going on, you two? Anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked there by the screaming baboons. And it was 8 baboons got into these 3 little trees that were separate from the edge of the tree line, like the tree line we're looking at the moment. And there was a big troop, over 100 or so baboons. And there was an absolute legend of a guide who I used to work with in Botswana. His name was Steve Kwalatala. And what happened was that these baboons got into the tree, while the rest of the troop managed to get onto the edge. And there were 2 males that only got into these small croton thickets, while the rest of them got all the way up to the top. And there was females and some sub-adults. And as Steve described it afterwards, which is the best way I can ever describe it, and shame he passed away a few years ago, but I said the baboons on the edge of the tree, one would say, "Jump!" Another baboon would go, "Don't jump!" Another one would go, "Lion!" Another one would go, "Where?" And "Jump! Don't jump! Lion!" And shouting and alarm calling as baboons too. And eventually one of the females jumped out of the big jackalberry tree, and the lionesses were on her. Bah! And they whacked her. And baboon dying is quite a nasty sound. But as that happened, one of the males, who was sitting in this very short bush next to the big tree trying to hide, got very upset. And he said, "Wah, wah!" And he started shouting at the lions, and the lioness just jumped up and grabbed him out of the tree. The second male was the only survivor. So the rest of those 6 baboons that were in the tree, they tried to leap out and run across the plains to where their friends were, with all the advice being given. "Jump! Don't jump! Lions will eat you! Jump! Don't jump!" And eventually that one male, after that one got grabbed out of the bush next to him, he just did this. Lions were off his family. But that was probably one of the most fascinating sightings I've ever seen, with any animals, not just baboons. Okay, let's move on and see what other wonders are out here. Oh, apologies. Apparently we had a little bit of breakup. I'm not sure why. I will have a stern word with the baboon gremlins. I think it was that naughty one that was screaming. Now, it seems like Tristan is still taking it easy on the Sunday morning drive, and he's next to the beautiful body of water that is Chitwa Dam.
I am, Brent. I'm enjoying my Sunday morning stroll through the African wilderness. It's been absolutely beautiful. I've had a wonderful drive. It's been nice to spend time with the dogs, and now it's just kind of winding down and spending a bit of time at Chitwa Dam and watching what goes on around here. So there's the hippos that are busy taking it very easy. I think they're enjoying a bit of sunshine after 2 or 3 very cold days. And super epic because there's... So here we go. They should be just up in front of us, but this is just the most epic morning we're having. We're having a super start to our day, which is so cool. It's going to be an epic Sunday, that's for sure. So there we go. Look, do you see what's crossing in front of us? 4 cheetah, not 1 but 4 cheetah. That's so cool. So they're busy running across. I think they're busy chasing something, so we're going to just try and get a little bit closer. But there they go, they're chasing something now, so I'm going to try and kind of get towards where they are. They're going towards Buffelshoek Dam, but they're chasing the impalas towards the dam itself. Now, it's not as easy as in the Mara to keep up with fast cheetah, because our terrain is not quite the same. But how epic is this? This morning I said I wonder if these 4 cheetah would end up being on the Djuma side, and there we go, they've just crossed onto our side. How cool is this? So exciting. It's been a very long time since I've seen a cheetah, and particularly on Djuma itself. So I'm going to try and just get a bit closer so that we can actually see them. I hope that it's not that they're too skittish, that they're just running from us. I'm trying to kind of get into this thicket a little bit slower, but I'm just trying to see. VM, if you see them, let me know, because they ran in this direction and I should be pretty much in line with them. 1 o'clock. Okay, so VM's got them, which is fantastic. Alright, so let's try and get into this area. You still see them, VM? Negative. 1 o'clock. Behind the termite mound. Okay, there we go. I've got them. Alright, so there we go. They're still just moving slightly away from us. They're going towards Buffelshoek Dam, which means that hopefully they're going to get a situation where they're going to spend some time at the dam today. Wouldn't it be nice if we had cheetah this afternoon as well? I mean, that's a word that I haven't said in so long, but they're still moving slowly in this direction. I'm trying to give them a bit of space, because from what I hear on the radio, I obviously have never seen these individuals, but from what I hear is that they're a little bit on the shy side, and so they're animals that you've got to kind of give a little bit more room and just kind of give it a chance, and then they come out and then they start to relax. So I just want to park here where it's a lot more open, and hopefully I'm going to get lucky with them. But I think they've crossed over that side, unfortunately, which is not ideal. This is turning into a bit of a chase of vegetation more than anything else. But eventually, if they get towards the dam wall, we can settle with them a little bit, and hopefully they'll settle down as well, and everything will kind of calm down to a panic. Whew. Deep breaths, deep breaths. There we go. Hopefully we will see them shortly. It's all been just flashes of spot and past. So exciting to see, and to have them around this area is just absolutely wonderful. So one just crossed the back apparently. Now I'm just going to try and go a little bit further forward and just try and see if I can see them, because at the moment I don't see anything. Are they crossing on the other side? Okay, so VM can see them. I can't see them at the moment, but apparently they're going over the road a little bit, area that they don't really know. There we go.
Oh my goodness, sorry about that everyone. I'm just quickly taking the car out of low range. We're just going through a little wet patch. My goodness, how rude of the gremlins. They really are inappropriate creatures, aren't they? We need some of that gremlin spray, or perhaps Eggsy and I are going to have to do another anti-gremlin dance. How does that sound? That could be quite fun. We'd have to do it on the car though, so I just have to get onto the hood of the car. That's fine. I do that every morning. So we've just left our lines. We're heading around and just scanning about to see if there's anything, maybe some more herons, because we haven't really seen any herons today. We need to add to our bird list. That's quite easy ones to of course get. No black-headed herons out here in the long grass. What else we can find? Maybe we'll eventually get that African blue flycatcher. Who knows? Down at the bridge. So that's where we're going to head now. Behind. There's nothing, just sitting here. Now, speaking of birds, Fuzzman Sparkles, you were asking how many species of barbets have I seen. I'm going to stop because I want to get my... Where is my book now? This is the fun part, trying to find it. Underneath. Is it underneath the jacket? It's underneath the jacket. Very untidy today. I apologize, everybody. I'll clean my little station up. 300, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, here we go. So, obviously, yesterday I saw the white-headed barbet, so that's one. We saw this one over here, this species down here, though, the subspecies. And then I've also seen, I just want to find it. There's a tinkerbird. I haven't seen a tinkerbird since I've been here. My goodness, sorry, this book is so massive, it's actually quite heavy. And then, if we go here, now, I'm not sure which version I've seen, if I've seen the Arnott's barbet, or if I've seen the Usam Bureau, or, sorry, what was that? Okay, it sounds very exciting. I'll tell you more about these barbets in a minute. Let's go back across to Tristan. I think he's got a cheetah. I've seen 2 species of barbets so far. I would like to see the double-toothed barbet. Brent has been telling me about that. That's this top one on the left. That looks quite spectacular. And then this morning, Jahawi was telling me about the red and yellow barbet, which is number 6, which is this one down here, which is actually very pretty. So I'd like to see, I'd absolutely love to see that. So maybe we get an opportunity. We might have to head to maybe some more forested areas to see if we can find them. Obviously, barbets, their favorite thing to eat is fruit. So wherever there are fruit trees, we'll have a good chance. And there is a particular tree, I'm not sure what it is. It looks like a tree called crocodile bark. I've completely forgotten what the Latin name is. It's something quilonensis. I don't know. I don't think it's, yeah, something quilonensis. Anyways, and I think it might be them. Anyways, right. I'll try and figure out what tree is fruiting at the moment. Let's go back across to Tristan and see if we can get a view of that cat.
Not. I've got no view of them at the moment. The last I saw them was just to our south here. Unfortunately, they came right out onto the road as we lost reception, and we got to see all 4 of them together on the road. And then now they've gone into an absolute thicket. There is an impala close by that maybe they potentially could be hunting. They were heading in this direction, but we can't see them anymore, and they tend to be trotting away from us all the time. And so we're just trying to give them some space and watch and see if potentially they come towards this impala that's here. But it's a bit of a kind of frustration, as you know, when we don't get to see these guys, and then I'm sorry that we lost reception. Hopefully we'll find a way to get some sort of view of them at some point. Now I'm just trying to go forward a little bit just to see if I can see any sign of them on my left hand side and just give VM some sort of a chance, but I don't see anything anymore. I think unfortunately I have a funny feeling that they've turned and gone back towards the dam side. So what I might do is actually just turn and loop back around. Maybe we're just sitting here and they've actually turned and gone the other side because the vehicles are this side. So while Rexon kind of comes in here, I'm going to go just back and check the other side again and see maybe I get some sort of sign. The problem with going the other side is that the reception that side is absolutely horrible. And so I'm just trying to kind of get some sort of view of these individuals in this general vicinity and before I then move anywhere else. So I don't know. I mean, I know there's an impala here and there's a waterbuck and they could potentially chase them, but I don't think so. I don't think they're in a situation where they are going to be hunting. I think they're more in a situation where they're just trying to kind of establish and work out where they are and what's going on. But I certainly don't see anything, and I don't think we're going to get a visual of these guys from here. Can you see anything, Vim? No. So they're somewhere in that. I mean, this is what we're dealing with. Is just seriously thick, dense bush, and it's a little on the frustrating side, to be honest. Hopefully our signal will stick. What's that there, Vim? That might be one of them. No, I think it's just a termite mound. So I'm trying to just scan and see them. They actually camouflage incredibly well in all of this. But no, I don't see any sign of them at all. And like I say, where I last saw them, unfortunately I can't go there because I don't have signal, so I can't go and check the last position that I had them. We just try to move up a little bit towards where they're going. Rexon is going in, so he's going to give me a better idea of whether they are moving or whether they are stationary, but I have a funny feeling they might have gone back towards the dam, so I want to just try and check if they're on that side. So we might lose reception, sorry, we're just trying to find a way to actually get to where these last anyway, it goes. Now, apparently now our gremlins are already back and causing trouble, so let's go back to Brent, who's in the sunny Mara, and hopefully gremlin free, and maybe we'll have something to show all of you.
Welcome back. Incredible for Cheetah and Djuma. How amazing. I've been pondering where they could have come from. And I think there was a female who was on the border of Buffelshoek and the Manyeleti, who had a around. We've wandered right into a wonderful spot amongst a herd of elephants. Hi guys. Lovely big herd of elephants as well. Must be 25 or so of them. I know her. She's got a very distinct tusk, this female here, who's got the little baba with her. Oh, you're being cheeky, little one. Are you going to charge me? I'm very scared. So she's got a recurved tusk, which is very, very distinct. So her tusk is facing backwards. And I've seen her quite a few times, actually. So there we go, and she's got a little baba with her. Hi guys. Lovely Sunday morning graze, green grass abounding. I said quite a big herd of ellies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22, 23 behind us. So about 25 of them. Oh, look, he's getting cheeky, the little one. He was thinking about giving us a going. Hey, trouble? What you want? What you want? You so scary, yeah? Yeah, I love baby elephants. You're scary. I'm very scared. I'm hiding in my chair. Oh, they are gorgeous. We do see this herd quite often. They're regularly below Angama. Little monster. You've decided not to be brave anymore. Oh, there we go. We're going to be brave. We're going to be brave again. Francis Israel says, so many babies lately, indeed. Well, it is season for Topi and Tommies. But as, of course, elephants give birth at any time of the year. Yes, you practice using that trunk before you become a big, scary boy. There's quite a lot of young ones in this herd. He's the youngest there. Hey, Trouble. What you doing? You hold your head high. That's it. You're very scary. You're going to shake your head at us. You're going to stick close to Mom. I love it when Mom sort of takes a couple of steps away. Quickly across to Tristan.
Well, look, there we go, guys. We've got at least a view of them. So this is some of the sub-adults that are walking past, and they're coming slowly but surely towards the road. So Mom is right at the back, and then the youngsters in the front. By what I can see, I'm not 100% sure, but that's what it looks like. And they're slowly but surely coming towards the road. If we just sit tight, they should come in front of us and just come out onto the road and get a clear view of them. The thing is with them is we just need to give them a bit of space. They're not animals that like to be kind of hassled by cars, and so if we just stand back a little bit, then hopefully we'll be able to see them. Unfortunately, it seems as though every time a vehicle moves, they then turn the opposite direction, but at least they are slowly but surely coming out into the open, and hopefully this is going to mean that they're going to settle. The interesting thing is that they're going further west, so they're heading deeper into Djuma, to the central parts of Djuma, and if these guys can just find quarantine, I'm pretty sure we're going to get a situation where we might even see them coming down towards that area. So it is super cool. I see one is now turning, although they're coming back into this general vicinity again, so I just want to try and stay where I am. Here we go, 2 of them are going to come right out onto the road, Wiem. They're just in front of us now, and so they should head right onto the road itself, and they're starting to settle now. They're getting a little bit more relaxed. The more everybody's quietening down and the more everybody stays still. No, man. So unfortunately people are moving around too much, which is going to hopefully not ruin this. I was hoping that they're going to come out right in front of us, but everybody keeps moving so much that I don't know if they're going to. But anyway, Francis from Israel, you say the cat whisperer strikes again. Well, I don't know. I think this is just a lucky one. We've just been super fortunate in that these guys managed to come south. And like I said, with the presence of the Torchwood Pride and the Angama Pride in Torchwood and Buffelshoek, it's probably what's pushed them. So they've heard those lions roaring, and that's why they've pushed more towards Djuma for the first time. But the good news is, if they come into Djuma, they walk around, they see prey animals, they see terrain that they potentially like, it means that they could come in here more and more and more, and we might get a situation where we're going to see these 4 cheetah a lot more often, which is just the most wonderful news. It is the best possible thing that we could have. It is absolutely insane that we've got cheetah on Djuma. It is ridiculous, and not just 1 but 4 of them. It is amazing. So super happy. I don't think we could have asked for anything better than this. I mean, it is absolutely insane to see this many cheetah walking around on Djuma. It is the best thing in the world. I love leopards, but to have these guys around is something super special. So there we go. There's one that's about to come out onto the road itself. So it's just on the edge of the road, and it's kind of looking, they're watching a few waterbuck that ran away just now, and I wonder if I can just maybe try, VM, just to get over this ridge, because if I'm over the ridge and they walk on the road, then I can just roll with them, and I can also get that vegetation out of your way. But there we go, that's what I was hoping for. So you can just get the bit of vegetation that VM had in his way. But look at that, how cool is this? Here we go. So there is 2, 3, and the 4th one should come soon. And they're just kind of watching and looking around at the moment. They're a bit unsure of all of this, and that's all the young ones. And I would imagine that they're about a year old. I'm not sure how old they are. Obviously, we don't know where they've come from or who they are, but they look to be about a year old. And so at the point now where they're going to be helping mom with hunting, and they should be an epic group of cheetah to follow. And sometimes I wish that we had the ability to follow the cheetah like the guys do in the Maro, because I reckon these 4 must be absolutely amazing to follow now that these ones are getting a little bit bigger. But they're all 4 of them are together, so I hope everybody's enjoying this as much as I am. Naturable, you're asking how will these cheetah deal with all the leopards that are on Djuma. This is just ridiculous. How are we seeing this? I don't know. It feels a bit of a pinch me moment, but it's going to be difficult for them. At the end of the day, you know, the likes of Tingana, Mvula, they're going to bully cheetah of this size for sure. Even Hosanna and Tamba. It would be interesting. I wonder if Tamba's ever seen a cheetah. It's an interesting concept. Or Hosanna, because both of them hang out in areas where I certainly have never seen a cheetah, and so I don't think they would have known even what a cheetah is, and what their reaction to it would be quite interesting. But at the end of the day, I would imagine that they're going to have a tough time. Also, there's hyenas here, there's lions, but if they're surviving in places like Buffelshoek and Manyeleti and Torchwood, where there's just as many of all of those kind of things, then, you know, they're doing just fine. So I think we're going to have a situation where hopefully they're going to see the value of being in Djuma, and they just avoid them. It's the same as in the Mara, where the cheetah just have to try and avoid all the other predators. It's the exact same thing. You can see mom is a little kind of watchful. They're settling down. They're far better than what they were just now, and then they are starting to kind of relax a little bit. We are keeping our distance at the moment. I mean, we are probably, I would say, 150 meters from them, and they are not looking too bad. Yes, it's a mom with cubs. It's not a coalition, so the mom is the one closest to us at the moment, and then the 3 cubs in the front, but they are not cubs anymore. They are grown quite a bit, and they're almost the same size as her. It's actually quite difficult to tell who's who, but it looks like mom right at the back, and then the 3 youngsters towards the front. But how cool is this? It's just the most epic thing ever to witness. just goes to show you never know what's around any of the corners, as we often say. So I'm going to try and cut through and just onto the Buffelshoek cut line because they're heading in that direction. At the end of the day, I think they're going to cross back into Buffelshoek. It doesn't matter though, we got them and we got to see them, and that's just the most special part about this whole thing, is that we're actually seeing cheetah on Djuma for the first time in I don't even know how long. I'd actually like to know when was the last time a cheetah was seen on Djuma itself, and whether or not it was in the last year. I don't think so. Well, in the entire time I've been here, there hasn't been a cheetah on Djuma, and so who knows when the last time they were actually here. Certainly I haven't seen a female cheetah and cubs in I don't even know how long since the last time I saw a female cheetah and cubs, and it looks like they might drink. There's a water hole here, so I wonder if they're going to actually have a little drink. It looks like they might, which will be just so epic. If we see cheetah drinking, hopefully the stick that is underneath my car decides to vanquish and go away, but a cheetah drinking would just be the most insane thing to see. So I just want to try and get into some sort of position that we can see it. Let's just go in front of Rexon a little bit. There we go. How beautiful is that, guys? That is as epic and as spectacular as we could ask for. But it looks like they are going to come down and drink. A bit muddy, it's a bit of a muddy negotiation to get down. How cool is this? They definitely are starting to relax a lot more now. I think it was just that initial kind of vehicles, and then also being in a different place. They're not in an area that they know at all. As far as we know, the first time they'd ever set foot in this particular section, and so they're just kind of watching around and checking around what's going on. And cheetah are a lot more circumspect than something like a leopard or a lion, but even if you find lions out of their territory or leopards out of their territory, they'll all be a lot more kind of worried and concerned about an area that they're in. But look at that, we're going to even get a bit of a reflection of a cheetah drinking. How cool is this? Roshni, you say she's done very well to raise 3 cheetah of this age. She has. She's done incredibly well in considering we're in a predator-rich environment. So we're in a place where there is a lot of other predators around. It is really not easy at all to raise cheetah in these particular sections, and so she's done incredibly well, and she's managed to keep them out of the way of hyenas and lions and leopard and all the other nasties that we get out of in this section. And so she must be a very good mother, and hopefully it, like I said, it will mean that we're going to see a lot more of these guys over the next little bit. It would be nice if we did, that's for sure. It seems as though they're going to turn and go further south again, which is actually not the worst news. If they head in that direction, at the end of the day, at least they're heading deeper into Djuma itself. But how cool is this? I mean, we couldn't ask for a better sighting of cheetah. 4 cheetah out in the open, having a little drink like they were just now, is as good as one could ever wish for. So cool. That is just the best thing ever. Absolutely epic. So this is just the coolest thing. I just want to get back towards the road again. I think they're going to cross north, but that was just, I mean, we couldn't have asked for anything better than what we just got now. They were sitting out in the open like that, a quick little drink that is as good as anybody could ever wish for in a cheetah sighting, whether it's Mara, Sabi Sands, anywhere, but here in the Sabi Sands, that is just absolutely insane. So we are so fortunate to have seen what we've just seen right now. Is probably one of the highlights that I've had in my time here at Safari Live. I know I've seen some amazing stuff, but that right there is just absolutely insane. So I just didn't think we'd ever see a situation where we'd have 4 cheetah walking around on Djuma and having a kind of drink off of a mud wallow and taking some time to actually spend in this area. So it's just one of those weird kind of situations, something that I really didn't expect at all. The problem is I've got a stick under my car, so I'm not even going incognito at the moment. I'm unfortunately making a lot of noise as we're walking along, but they seem to be getting a little bit better. They seem to be chilling out quite a bit and relaxing, and they're no longer kind of trotting away from us. They seem to kind of be figuring out that we're not really an issue, and they can walk along this fire break section. And I'm just going to stay here because I don't want to cut their path off, and they are going to cross north fairly shortly. It's unfortunately the way it goes. They're going to move out of our area again, but at least it's been a foray into our section. It's kind of, they've checked it out, they've seen it, James, you say you can't believe we finally get to meet the family. It's been on your wish list for a while. James, I think you and a lot of other people, well, including me, I've wanted to see these cheetah as well, and we've come tantalizingly close a few times. You know, we've ended up in a situation where we've kind of heard of them on our fringes. We had those tracks that came towards Buffelshoek Dam that one time before, and so, you know, we've had a situation where we've really come close a few times, but we've never just quite managed it. And to have them here now and to know that they're in our area is just absolutely insane. So we're super fortunate, we're super lucky, and it's one of those moments where it was just right time at the right place. If it wasn't for being here right now, we probably wouldn't have gotten to see them. We would have had a situation where they might have, you know, come in and gone out, and if nobody had kind of been this section while they were coming over the road, then we might not have seen them. So they are going to cross or just walk along the road, I think. Unfortunately, they're going to probably not cross just yet, but they see mom in front and then the youngsters walking behind. And this is a shot that I didn't think we would see on Djuma, is for cheetah on the road itself. And I always love when cheetah cross the road. They kind of move their head to the side and watch you, and look at that. Very, very, very special to see that. We are so lucky right now. We are incredibly lucky. There's still one more to come over. There we go. So the last one is just on the mound itself and is about to probably come over. And Alaramo, you say they look so tall and elegant. They do. Unfortunately, yeah, somebody drove a bit close to them, and as you can see, they're not quite as relaxed as some of the other individuals that we see out here, particularly things like the leopards and the lions. And so that's unfortunately it with our cheetah. They are going to cross north and out of our area. So good. So good. It's just such a privilege to see that. I don't know when they'll come back again, if they ever will come back again. Who knows? It might be one of those once-off things, but even if it is, that was just so epic and so special in so many ways. And I hope every single one of you enjoyed that just as much as myself and VM, because I did. I thought it was as good as one could ever ask for. And we just get one last view of them as they meander their way through, and it looks like they might actually settle on a termite mound. There's one or two that are going towards a big termite mound that's just off the road, and I wonder if they might just settle on top of the mound. No, I think they're going to carry on walking northwards. Well, that was epic. Is there one going to the mound? Yeah, looks like it. Let's just see. One looks like it's going up onto the mound itself. So if we just sit tight, it might go up or not. No, it's walking past, unfortunately. I thought it might go up onto this beautiful big mound. It would have been such a nice sighting. Sorry, VM, I know there's lots of bushes and trees and things around, but they are slowly drifting off, unfortunately. Right, well, there we go. That's our cheetah disappearing from view. They are slowly but surely moving off and deeper into Buffelshoek. And so while they kind of saunter off into the wilderness and into the bush areas, let's go back across to Brent Leo Smith all the way in the Mara, where, well, cheetahs are a lot easier to find than they are here, and see what he's up to. I think he's got something that they would like to actually hunt.
Look at it, it's little piggies! And some eland. They're so small, the little pigs. Those are really, really young little piggies. They are tiny. Keeping up with Mom. Here they go, running between all the other animals. Tiny little piglets. And you can see impala, some eland. Now, I came up into this particular area in search Unfortunately, no auger buzzard, but lots of little piggies. An eland. Oxpeckers on the eland. Looks like yellow-billed. You can see, there's a little eland having a drink. And that's wonderful. The wind is starting to blow up here. You might be able to hear it. And this area is particularly windy. And then we've got... Well, let's see if we can find that auger buzzard that likes to hang around here. I'm surprised he's not on one of the shepherd's trees. Now, even though the sun's out and it's warming up with this wind, it is still quite chilly. Now, the auger buzzards really like this area. So there's a lot of little rodents in this area, and you can watch them sort of gliding down the valleys. It is absolutely gorgeous. But not an auger in sight today, which is very strange. Well, you got to look, and quite often you got to look low because they sit on the rocks rather than up in the trees. Okay, I'm going to keep looking for an auger buzzard up here, because it is such an absolutely stunning bird. While we do that, let's go see what Madam McCurdy's doing just down the hill from me.
Eating your dust? No, luckily there's too much wind today, so I'm not getting any dust, which is quite nice. Who's going to find that auger buzzard first? We had a really nice sighting yesterday morning of one, and like Brent said, they love it around here. I was sitting on what was it? No, it wasn't a rock, it was on a log, but sort of one that the elephants must have pushed over at some point. It was just a part of the tree that was still standing up. Just scanning around. It was really quite beautiful, in fact. It's such a nice day. I cannot believe it. To not have so many clouds in the sky, which is quite nice. You can actually see Brent. There's Brent. He's moving around up there. We're racing. He raced me. He thought it would be fun to try and see if he could get past me, but we weren't really racing him. We were just casually driving. We've been bumping around. We've driven the bumpiest roads today, so I'm trying to drive nicely and not bounce around any more than we need to. Although sometimes it's nice. Yesterday I had a nice neck clip. That was quite cool. I don't know how good it is for us all the time, though. Let's stop and have a quick look at the view, just to show you how beautiful. It's very hazy out today, though. Very, very hazy. It's not clear. You're struggling to see the hills and in the distance. It's actually very hazy now that I look at it, but it's still nice to not have too many. Oh, there's a couple of clouds, but it's a fairly cloudless scene in comparison to what we normally have. But you can probably hear the wind howling. I think everybody's going to move around and maybe... What's going... Is that a zebra fight? Sorry. I just see dust off to the left, far, far, far left on the other side. There's a group of zebra that are running. So we're quite a little bit further to the right. They're actually running down now. There you go. Oh, we're just about to lose them. It must be some stallions that were playing around, because I just saw it. There they go again. They might come back up. A huge swirl of dust, and then a stallion actually reared up, and that's such typical behavior. Although mares can rear too. I know a few horses, a few mares that like to rear up. Actually, one of my friends, AJ, his horse Ovation, every time he would clap, or every time he'd arrive in the arena and she was a beautiful looking horse, she'd stand up on her back legs. It was sort of like her talent. Very, very funny. But oh my goodness, they're actually going crazy. They're racing down and around, so someone's not happy in there, but they're in the forest now, but out of view for us. But it's been a great morning nonetheless, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. Tristan seems to have had the most amazing luck towards the end of the show. Let's go and see how he feels.
Well, Taylor, I don't really know how to... Well, I'm overjoyed, I was imagine, if it's actually at a loss for words, funny enough, which is quite strange for me. But it's just amazing to think that we've gone out this morning and seen two of the most endangered carnivores that we have here in the Sabi Sands, particularly two hardest to find here for sure, in the form of the dogs and cheetah is just absolutely insane, and I would have told you that would never have happened. So at the end of the day, for us to have been able to see both of them is just absolutely ridiculous. So super happy about it, and to have seen those 4 cheetahs is such a special thing, because they've been kind of flirting with the boundary, and like I was saying earlier, I think it's something that a lot of us have wanted to see, and a lot of us have hoped that they would come this way, and I hope that they will eventually start coming further and deeper into Djuma. It seems as though their forays into this area is coming deeper all the time, and so hopefully it will happen. Now, I believe a lot of you are very thankful for that super cheetah sighting. Well, I'm very thankful for them, the cheetah, coming this way, and it's been an absolute pleasure to show all of you, and I'm glad that we got to see them, and I'm glad that we actually got a really nice view of them, because I was a bit worried that we might have lost them and not be able to get them. But unfortunately, it's that time of the day for our drive to finish, so we're going to head off for some breakfast. VM has thoroughly deserved his breakfast this morning, and hopefully it will be something tasty for him. But it's been an absolutely epic morning, like I say, with the dogs and the cheetah and all the things in the Mara, Brent's birding and the lions that Taylor had. It's just been one of those great days in the bush. So from Taylor and Brent, myself and VM and Megan in the FC, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you this afternoon on our sunset safari.